Good afternoon, everybody. Our guys got back in the building on Monday, and we had a chance to watch the film, and big part of this week is us continuing to grow individually, just fundamentals, technique, eye discipline, and playing assignment sound, and we look back at the the previous game and what are the controllables that we got to get better at, and and then as we start our on-field work, today part of that, getting started on Arkansas a little bit, but again, a lot of it's things that we got to get better at, and at the end of the week here, our staff will be on the road recruiting as we wrap up the week, and I want to take advantage of that opportunity as well.
We'll begin today with Andrew Hutchison of the Best of Arkansas Sports.
Hey, Coach, with all the changes at Arkansas, especially on the defensive side of the ball, Coach Petrino has said he's not even sure what the base defense is going to be moving forward. I'm curious, what, from your perspective, when you're preparing for that, kind of what challenges does that present?
Yeah, I think you got to look at some of what they've done and be prepared for that, but also go back and look at things that Chris has done historically. So it's a balancing act of all of that. A year ago, offensively, they had success, playing a version of their three down on that night, and so we'll prepare for that, and then adjust to anything else that we see.
Appreciate it.
Next is David Eckert of the Austin American-Statesman.
Hey, Josh. I appreciate the time today. I'm just curious, when you're evaluating quarterbacks at the high school level, over time, I'm just wondering, how often does your evaluation kind of line up with the public perception of them? Do they usually match, or is there a big difference?
Yeah, sometimes they certainly do. Sometimes they don't. I think that positions, there's so many things that go into that guy. One, being the quarterback, there's off the field and things inside the locker room that matter, and then two, you look at the physical traits that you want at that position inside the scope of what you're doing schematically, and then the ability to process and take all that information in. So it's there's a lot of things that go into that guy being the right guy.
Appreciate it.
Next is Tom Murphy, the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Hey, Josh, I'm wondering, in preparing for a Bobby Petrino offense, things that go into that and the times you crossed paths with Bobby over the years.
Yeah, offensively, he's always done a great job. I think you got to be ready to handle the run game, and with who they have now, the quarterback run game as well can be a huge part of what they decide to do. But he's always got the ability to be extremely multiple, and personnel groupings, formations, motions, communication, all three levels got to be in sync, and ultimately he's going to apply pressure to you, and you got to be able to adjust, and you got to go play at a really high level.
The times you've come across Sam Pittman as a man, as a coach, just your thoughts about what he's done for the game and his situation right now.
Yeah, I have known about Sam for a long time. When I got to Oklahoma as a player, he had been there, previously before I arrived, and guys spoke extremely highly about the character, who he was as a man, but then also as a coach. And as I got further into my coaching career, obviously you're able to see the success that he had, in particular with offensive line and play, and coaching it and recruiting it at an elite level. And as I got a chance to know him just in our head coaching meetings and crossing paths, not a better man inside of this game, who he is as a person, and just conducting himself with great integrity, and so ton of appreciation for who he is and how he did his job.
Thanks so much, Josh. See you next week.
Next will be Daniel Shee of Razorbacks on SI.
Yeah, hi, Coach. With how quickly information spreads nowadays, I'm wondering, as a coaching staff, do you take it on an incumbent on, as a staff, to tell the players, don't get distracted by all the changes that Arkansas has made, or how do you kind of approach something like that?
Yeah, we're getting ready to play a really good football team. A couple of weeks ago on the road against Ole Miss, who's ranked number 4 in the country, or somewhere in their top 5, and it's a one possession game. At the end of the fourth quarter, I know last week didn't go the way anybody wanted it to, but this is a really good football team. So it's the next one for us inside of this league. Players understand you got to come to play every Saturday. You're seeing light skill sets on the other side of the football, and it's going to be one in the details of the game.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Coach, we'll finish you up today with Steve Moulton on WZZN.
Hey, Coach. Hope you're doing well today.
Man, I was wondering where you were at, Steve.
Well, Coach, you mentioned about the cleanup a little bit from Saturday. I want to dive more into that. Tell me more about what you saw, especially on film, and certainly congratulations on the win, Coach.
Yeah, we'll take the win. Love the way that we finished, and it was the way that we played. We were willing to go out and not get too high, too low, and just go play the next series. So I love that part of it in the finish. But a lot of controllables that we got to get better at, in particular, offensively and special teams wise. And so it's been a point of emphasis, and as we came back on Monday and team meeting and all that, and it's a week for us to continue to grow. Every week is that way, but we got to continue to take steps in the ownership and the control, the things that we can control.
Offensively, Coach, with as late as Joey arrived, that's been pretty well documented. But even that relationship with Chris that he has there at the wide receiver spot, is something that you saw during fall camp of just how high a level you're playing offensively, Coach?
Believe we had an opportunity to be really good offensively. Had a lot of trust in Chris as we finished up last year. What we thought this year could look like for him if he went about it and competed the right way and continued to grow. But for everybody in that room, Braylon Staley and Mike Matthews are playing at a really high level. In this game, it's about development of players, and we had some guys that had been in our program for less than a year that had to have a great offseason. They did. Had some, young guys that were coming in that we believed could help us immediately. And some of those guys have, and we're going to continue to need more from them. So pleased with a lot of what we've done. We expect to be a really good offense, and our guys have done a lot of positive things, but for us, there's a lot of meat left on the bone too, and a lot of things that we can continue to get better at.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Coach, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.